Probably everybody here has heard of Chobani Greek yogurt. It's very popular nowadays, and it has put us on the map commercially because Chobani yogurt is made about 20 miles from here. The company started in 2007, but already it is estimated to be worth $1.4 billion. And it was all started by one man. He was a refugee who came from Turkey. He left his home country because he was from a minority group. He was Kurdish. And he wound up immigrating to Utica, New York. And he started this company, and it took off. Recently, he was on a business trip to Greece. When you make Greek yogurt, you go to Greece on business sometimes, and there he was. And he saw something that moved his heart. He saw the refugees coming in, boat after boat, coming in to this island of Greece from the Middle East. And he saw that they had nothing. They had absolutely nothing. And he knew what it was like to flee a homeland. And so he made an incredible decision. He has decided and has made a promise that he is going to give half of his wealth to the refugees. $700 million. And he wrote a check for $2 million right away. He said, we have enough of everything. There's enough wealth, there's enough knowledge, there's enough technology, there's enough of everything. The only thing lacking is action. He said, we have to act. And so he did. Unbelievable. A local hero. But Jesus is proposing that the two women we hear about today are even more incredible than the head of Chobani yogurt. And here's why. Let's not take anything away from him. He's doing something incredible. But when he is done giving that money away, he will still have $700 million. The widow who put her 2 coins in the treasury, she left with nothing. The woman who gave her last bit of bread during a famine to a prophet who said, can you give me a piece of bread? She was giving away her last meal. She and her son were going to die after they ate that meal. And she gave it away because she believed he was a prophet. So what all of these people are showing us is that you cannot be truly generous unless you are also brave. You cannot give away the level of giving that God is calling us to unless you have courage. And the only way we can have that is if we trust God. The foundation of this all, what makes us brave, is if we trust God. That God won't let us starve. That we can give away our last bit of bread and we will not starve. That we can give away half of our income, or in the case of the widow, all of our income, and we'll be okay. It's all going to work out. That is a hard lesson to learn. I moved to Oneonta 2.5 years ago, and I came with a lot of baggage, literally, because I had lived in apartments for almost 10 years before I was in the seminary. So I had all the furniture you need for an apartment. And when I moved here, I was a little surprised that my rooms at the rectory were already furnished. There was a bed, there was a dresser, there was everything. So at first, I was going to use the dresser that I brought with me because I knew it well, and I knew the size of the drawers and where everything would go. But then I looked at the dresser that was here and I thought, oh my gosh, think about it. That's Father Ben's dresser. And you know what else? That's Father Bob Longabuco's dresser. And Father Steve Moore and Father Brian Raish. And you know what? I'll bet you that dresser is the same one that Father Jeff Burke used, if you've been here enough years to remember Father Jeff Burke. And I thought, well, how perfect. I'm going to use that dresser. So then, about a year after I got here, maybe more, I don't know, someone in the parish needed a dresser. So that wasn't hard. I said, I've got a dresser. I'm not using it. You can have it. It didn't hurt at all because I had Father Bob Longabuco's dresser. Didn't hurt me at all. So then, Last month, when I was looking at the new rectory where I'm going to live in Cooksaki, imagine my surprise when I looked around and I saw that there was no dresser in the bedroom. And I had this kind of panicky feeling like, oh my gosh, 6 months from now, I'm still gonna be going into Price Chopper bags to get my t-shirts and my socks. I thought, this is horrible. And I thought, dang it, why did I give away that dresser? But here's the lesson of the scriptures. Your generosity is protected. Your jar of flour is never gonna go empty. If you're generous, your oil jug is never gonna dry up. When I got to Cooksaki this week with my moving boxes, there was a dresser. They had moved it out because they were painting the room, but there it was. Even bigger than the dresser I have here. So we have to be able to be brave in order to learn this lesson. We've got to believe that there's always going to be a dresser waiting for us. We have to believe that, or else we won't be able to act. And here's the hard part. You can't wait for the dresser to show up before you give away the one you've got. You've got to act first. You can't wait for abundance to come into your life and then give from your abundance. That's not how it works. You prime the pump by trusting first. That's how you siphon the hose. You have to act first, and then abundance follows. God's blessings follow once we make that courageous move. It's kind of like in a circus, where the people who fly on the trapeze, there's something they have to do in order to successfully fly around on the trapeze. They have to get good at letting go of the bar. They have to fly for just a moment in midair, touching nothing, so that they can reach out for the other bar. If they were to hold on to the first bar while they also reached for the second, the physics would be all messed up and they would fall. You have to let go of the first bar in order to reach safely for the second. That's how it works. Other people teach us this by their acts of generosity. That's really how we learn this lesson. I have a friend from ministry school, Paul, who lives in California, and I try to visit Paul and his wife Megan as much as I can. They're wonderful. And one of my visits was coming up, and I needed a new computer. And I get very nervous about decisions like that. I needed a laptop. I didn't know what to get. But Paul is a computer whiz. So I said, this will be easy. When I'm visiting Paul and Megan, I'll ask Paul what I should get. And I did that. And he took me to the store, picked out the perfect computer. We went home. He put all the software on it, made sure that it was all set, and made sure the passwords were working. It was perfect. And I was going home later that night, and he said, you don't have a computer bag. You need a computer bag. And I said, I'll buy one when I get home. Incredibly then, he reached down and picked up his computer in the bag. He took his computer out. He opened all the pockets and emptied his highlighters and his flash drives. And then he put my computer in it, and he zipped it up. And he said, here you go. And I said, now you don't have one. And he said, I'll get another one. And this was a nice computer bag. I said, this is too nice. You can't give this away. This is nice. And he said, I know. That's why I want you to have it. And you know what? That happened almost 10 years ago. The computer's gone. I had to get a new one, but I still keep the bag. It's not as nice as it used to be. I've kind of worn it out, but I don't want to get a new bag because every time I look at it, I remember that act of generosity. I love it. So this week, we are being given an invitation to see the connection between generosity and trust. We can see the connection between the courage that we need to be truly generous. So maybe a place to start is to ask yourself, when is the last time someone did something really generous for you? When did somebody empty their computer bag and give it to you? When was the last time someone really went above and beyond? How did they do it? What was motivating them? When was the last time you or I did something like that for someone else? How do we get the courage to do that? Do we believe that if we, like the Chobani CEO, if we gave away half of everything we have, that it would all work out? that we would be okay. We could give away half of everything and it would all be fine in the end. Do we believe that? It takes courage to be generous. So we have to trust that if we have the courage to take care of others, God has the goodness to take care of us.